Are you thinking about making the Texas Hill Country your new home? Well, hold that thought. Before you pack your bags for the scenic paradise, there are some common mistakes you will want to avoid. Ryan Rendon Realty Group, your favorite realtor right here in the Texas Hill Country. So I wanted to make this video today because these are some of the most common mistakes and complaints I hear from people who move to the Texas Hill Country. So I hope this video helps you make the right decisions for you and your families. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, but also hit that little bell up top so you can get notified anytime I put out videos just like this one. Let's get this video started right now. The first common mistake that people often make when they pack up their bags and head to the Texas Hill Country is not giving the climate the proper respect that it deserves. Sure, we all know that Texas can get hot, but the Texas Hill Country can take it up a notch and makes you rethink your outdoor plans. But it's not just the heat that can catch you off guard. The weather here likes to keep you on your toes with everything from the sudden downpours that can lead to those flash floods to the occasional chilly snap in the winter that reminds you that it's not summer all year round. So making your home climate ready really is the key, like installing solar shades to beat the heat or setting up a rainwater collection system for those unexpected downpours. And when it comes to living in the Hill Country life, timing really is everything. Plan your hikes, barbecues, and gardening for the cooler part of the days could turn what might have been a weather-driven hassle into the best part of the day. You know, it's really all about embracing this climate with a flexible attitude and a little preparation so you can soak up all the beauty and outdoor adventures the Hill Country has to offer without getting knocked sideways by the weather. Okay, so venturing into the second big oversight that a lot of folks make when they relocate to the Texas Hill Country, and that is not fully grasping the ins and outs of the water supply situation. You know, it can really be a curveball for a lot of you, especially for those of you who are moving to our area who water supply is just not an issue, where you don't even have to think about it. Here in the Texas Hill Country, a good chunk of our homes are on water wells, which means you're in charge of your own water supply, making sure the equipment and pumps are working properly, making sure the water is drinkable. But the plot does thicken when you factor in our region's rainfall patterns, or sometimes the lack thereof, which can turn water management into something of an art form. So embracing water saving techniques becomes part of your daily routine, like installing rain barrels to catch those downpours when they come, or choosing native plants for your garden that won't guzzle more water than your supply can handle. It's about more than just making do, it's about adapting to a lifestyle that respects the ebb and flow of nature here. And let's not forget about the community aspect as well. Getting to know how your neighbors conserve the water and getting tips from them can also build that community aspect, and working together to help conserve this water as a community. So diving deep into understanding your water resources and how to manage them can make your transition to Hill Country living smoother and ensure that your slice of Texas paradise stays lush and vibrant. Okay, so moving on to the third common oversight, a lot of newcomers to the Texas Hill Country don't fully appreciate the wild and wildlife until they're here living in the midst of it. So it's one thing to enjoy the idea of nature from the comfort of your patio or back door, but it is another thing to find a deer grazing in your backyard or to come across a snake while gardening. To be perfectly clear, the Hill Country is a hotspot for biodiversity, which of course means sharing your space with everything from the harmless and picturesque to the formidable critters that call this place home. But here's where it gets interesting. Living alongside the wildlife isn't just about the occasional surprise encounter. It's really about understanding the delicate balance between human habitation and wildlife habitats. For instance, those deer that seem so charming can wreak havoc on your garden if you're not prepared, and not being mindful of how you store your trash can turn your yard into a midnight diner for raccoons and other critters. And then there's the matter of safety, especially for those less cuddly creatures like your snakes and certain insects. Of course, taking simple steps like keeping your grass cut, having your house sprayed quarterly, keeping certain doorways and windows sealed will help keep a lot of the insects out, and then just being mindful of where you're stepping when you go outside. One of the things I can recommend, especially during the summer months, if you're picking up something, let's say a bucket off the ground, is maybe using something like a stick or a hoe to lift it up first to make sure you don't have a snake or whatever underneath it that could potentially bite you. But here's the silver lining. Learning to live with the local wildlife can enrich your hill country experience in ways you might not expect. It's about more than just coexistence. It's about becoming a steward of the land you now call home. So whether it's setting up bird feeders, planting native flora to attract pollinators, or simply learning to observe and appreciate the natural world around you, there is a deep sense of connection that comes from living in harmony with nature. So yes, while the wildlife here in the Texas Hill Country does require some precautions and adjustments, it does open the door to some beauties and outdoor enjoyments. Okay, so rolling into the fourth common oversight, a lot of folks are just caught off guard by the sheer scale of the Texas Hill Country. So it's not just about the wide open spaces and the breathtaking views. It's about realizing that just down the road can mean a whole lot more driving than you bargained for. This vast landscape means that popping out for a quick errand might involve a mini road trip, and your favorite downtown spot could be a fair trek from your peaceful countryside retreat. But of course, this is for those of you who are living out in the country, who are miles away. If you live in town, obviously this won't pertain to you, but this section is mainly focused for the folks who want to live outside the city limits, maybe out in the county. It's the shift from the city living that could get some getting used to. But of course, if you live in town in any of these Texas Hill Country towns, you're going to be in good shape. You won't have to worry about that aspect. But if you desire to live out in the country, out in the county on some acreage, this section is mainly focused for you. But here's the kicker. The distance limit isn't just about spending time behind the wheel. It's about planning your life around these longer commutes, whether it's getting to work, dropping off the kids at school, or just meeting friends for a coffee. The distance in the hill country can turn what used to be an afterthought into a major part of your day. And of course, let's not forget about the impact to your social life. Impromptu get-togethers might need a bit more planning when your friends are spread out across the countryside. And I can tell you from personal experience, when we lived outside of town, actually about 18 miles outside of town, the desire to come back into town to grab a quick bite to eat, a coffee, or even just hang out with friends was a little bit less desirable. It really does encourage a slower pace of life where journeys become as much a part of the day's enjoyment as the destination itself. And I actually do hear this all the time. The folks that I sell property to outside the city limits, maybe it's 20 miles away, 15 miles away, whatever the case may be, they actually choose to do that so they can have a little bit of a drive to come back to town, maybe reflect on life, maybe say some prayers, enjoy the hill country views, the sunrises, the sunsets, whatever the case may be, and really just kind of slow down life a little bit. It's about embracing those long drives as an opportunity to soak in the stunning scenery, maybe even discover some off the beaten path gems, and even turn those car rides into quality family times. And again, going back to my childhood memories, we lived around 18 miles from town, so we had the opportunity to listen to music together as a family, talk about what happened that day at school or at church or whatever the case may be. So it was a fantastic opportunity for us as a family to come together, actually talk to one another, and enjoy the scenery. Plus, living in the hill country often means being part of a close-knit community where neighbors look out for each other and local events become the highlight of your social calendar. So while the sprawling distance of the hill country might seem daunting at first, with a bit of planning and shift of perspective, they can add a whole new dimension to your lifestyle. It's about making peace with the journey, not just the destination, and finding joy in the slower pace and a deeper connection that comes with living in the hill country. Okay, so diving into the fifth common misstep, a lot of people underestimate the value of a seasoned realtor when setting their sights on moving to the Texas hill country, especially when their dreams are set maybe not just on a cozy little home, but perhaps a big sprawling ranch or farm. It really is a unique market out here, where the rolling hills and open spaces mean you're not just buying a property, you're buying a lifestyle. And that's where the expertise of a real estate agent who's well versed on both the residential but also the farm and ranch side becomes invaluable. So navigating the hill country real estate scene without a seasoned guide can be like setting off on a backcountry hike without a map. Sure, yeah, you may find your way, but likely chances are you're either going to miss hidden gems or get completely lost. A good realtor doesn't just help you find the property, they help you understand the process and what you're getting yourself into. From water and mineral rights to land management for local zoning, but also environmental regulations. But here's where my experience comes into play. With a background in both residential properties and the intricacies of farm and ranch properties, I bring a comprehensive understanding of what it takes to make a transition to Texas Hill Country living. It's about more than just closing a deal. It's about helping you and your family find the right fit for your lifestyle, whether that's a quaint cottage nestled in the hills or a working ranch with all the challenges and rewards that come along with it. And of course, let's not forget about the aftercare. A realtor like myself with deep roots in the Hill Country can be your gateway to the community, connecting you with local services, events, and networks that can make your transition smoother and of course more enjoyable. From finding the right contractors for your renovations to introducing you to fellow ranchers and homesteaders, the right realtor can help you weave the thread into the fabric of Hill Country life. So while it might be tempting to go it alone to find your new Hill Country home or ranch, the value of a realtor with a solid footing of both residential and farm and ranch cannot be overstated. It's about leveraging expertise not just to find a property, but to craft a lifestyle that's in harmony with the unique rhythms and opportunities of the Texas Hill Country. Okay, so now sliding into the sixth common oversight, and that is not fully grasping and understanding the cost of renovating and building in our area. So it is one thing to fall in love with a piece of land or that old farmhouse with dreams of doing all these renovations to it, but it is a completely another thing to navigate the cost when it comes to building in our area, but also to renovate that old farmhouse. The cost can be very, very sneaky, especially when you're dealing with the logistics of getting materials and skilled labor out to a more remote, rugged location. But here's where it gets very real. The Hill Country isn't just a construction zone. It's a place where land demands respect, from the limestone bedrock beneath your feet to the ancient oaks that might dictate where you can and cannot build. This of course means that your renovation building project might come with a side of geological surveys or arbitrage reports, not to mention the potential need for special permits if you're looking to do something truly out of the ordinary. And then of course there's the aesthetic aspect as well. Part of the charm of the Hill Country is its natural beauty and distinctive architectural style, which leans heavily on local materials and designs that blend seamlessly with the landscape. This of course isn't just about keeping up with the Joneses, it's about preserving the character and allure of our region, which can sometimes mean higher costs for materials like native stone or custom features that capture the quintessential Hill Country vibe. But there is a kicker, of course. Navigating these waters successfully means not just budgeting wisely, but also partnering with the right architects, builders, and craftsmen who share your vision and respect the land. So while the dream of building in the Texas Hill Country can be as big and bold as the Texas sky, it's crucial to approach it with a blend of reverence for the land, a clear understanding of unique challenges and cost involved, and a team that's as committed to your vision as you are. And to give you a quick idea of what you can expect the building cost to be here in the Hill Country, I spoke with 3 to 4 contractors recently to see what their building costs are. And you can expect anywhere between $325 to right around $350 per square foot for livable space. So if you're thinking about building a 2,000 square foot house, multiply that by 350, you're looking at a price tag of right around $700,000. Of course, that doesn't account for your land as well. And like I said, that's the going rate between 3 to 4 contractors here in the Hill Country. Okay, so now wading into the 7th common oversight. Newcomers to the Hill Country may not initially realize the complexity of local regulations and community rules that help shape life here in our area. So navigating these rules is more than just a bureaucratic hurdle. It's about understanding how each regulation contributes to preserving the Hill Country's natural beauty and community ethos. From the environmental protections to the community aesthetics, these guidelines help ensure the region remains a vibrant but also a sustainable place to live. So engaging in these community standards and regulations offers a chance to connect more deeply with the Hill Country, but also the residents. It's really about joining a collective effort to steward the land and community to ensure the Hill Country retains its charm and character for future generations. So while these local regulations may seem daunting at first, they're an integral part of living in and contributing to the Hill Country way of life. There you have it, folks. The Texas Hill Country offers a unique blend of scenic beauty, cultural richness, and a relaxed lifestyle. By avoiding these common mistakes, you can ensure that your move to the Hill Country will be as smooth as the rolling hills that define our area. If you're thinking about buying or selling anywhere around the Texas Hill Country, I would love to be your realtor of choice. All my contact information is above, but also down in the description. And make sure you watch this next video. I think you're really gonna like it. We'll see you in the next video.